the quarterback shuffle. And as these things go, sometimes you got to wait for that first domino to fall in order for the rest of the picture to be clear. There's a lot of variables here. Where are Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders going to end up? What's going to happen with Matthew Stafford? Aaron Rodgers, I'm hearing, is reached out to the Giants. Armando, take me through this scene here of the quarterbacks. Sam Darnold has still got to figure out what's going to happen with him, among others. What are we kind of looking at here with the quarterbacks that are in play?
Stafford is the first domino. He is the guy. He's the best guy out there. He's obviously, even at 37 years old, he is the prize of the litter. And when he figures out what he's doing, which may include staying with the Rams, then all the other dominoes will fall. If the Rams need a quarterback, they might turn to, I don't know, Aaron Rodgers. They might turn to Sam Darnold. They might draft the Quinn Ewers. They might do something like that. The Jets need a quarterback. The Giants obviously need a quarterback. They're trying to get Stafford as well. The Falcons tell everybody who will listen that they are not trading Kirk Cousins, that he will be their backup. I call BS on that, because we all know that nobody wants a $27 million a year quarterback. He's a shadow that would be a bad situation if Michael Penix Jr. ever struggles. Fans will immediately and instantly start calling for the benching of Penix and the playing of Stafford, which is the reverse of what happened last year. So I think that he will be released. He will be available. And then, of course, there's the draft picks that happen in April. All these other guys, the dominoes will fall by March, the middle of March. The first day of the new league year is March 12th, and we'll have certainty about where those guys are going by then.
Ward and Sanders, is there a sense, is Ward going to go before Sanders? And how far do you think Sanders could possibly go? I've heard people saying there's no way he falls below 6th. What's your take on this?
Yeah, so obviously I'm a Miami guy. I watched Cam Ward play every single game last year. Very impressive. Is he a complete product? No. Last year was a great quarterback class. This year is not a great quarterback class, and he is the class of that group. That group includes Jackson Dart from Mississippi. I already mentioned Quinn Ewers, and obviously Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders isn't quite as gifted, I would say, athletically as Cam Ward. Cam Ward isn't quite as pro-ready as Shedeur Sanders. So it's going to be kind of like a balancing act. But at the end of the day, I think teams that have egos believe we're going to go with the higher upside and coach the pro-ready into him, whereas the ceiling for Shedeur Sanders is at a certain level, and it's not as high as Cam Ward.
Armando, I know you're busy there in Indianapolis. I'm going to get you out of here. But before I do, the NFLPA report is out, ranking the teams on a variety of factors, everything from ownership to the weight room to how family members are treated and many other categories. The Dolphins coming in number 1 here. You can see A pluses across the board except for an A for treatment of family, followed by the Vikings, Falcons, Raiders, and Chargers there in the top 5. Kansas City, 26th. You go down the list, Philadelphia's 22nd. How much does any of this stuff actually matter, Armando?
So to the players, it matters because they obviously want to be somewhere where they feel like they're being well treated, that they have everything at their disposal to be able to win. The problem is the fans look at, the Dolphins winning it for the second year in a row. The Dolphins haven't won a playoff game since 2000. And they have the longest playoff drought in the NFL. 2 years ago, the Kansas City Chiefs won their second consecutive Super Bowl, and they ranked 30th. in this report card. So does the report card show an equilibrium between being comfortable and being well treated and winning football games? Absolutely not. I call it the entitlement report, because when you've got millionaires complaining at some points that they're not getting good child care, bro, you're making over $1 million a year. Pay for it. I mean, if that's what you need, get it. You're making enough to do it. There are people making $35,000 a year that are trying to get child care. I don't want to hear your complaints about child care. I don't want to hear. There's one team, the Philadelphia Eagles, actually, that the players complain that sometimes they have to wait for the business staff to get done with their lunch so that they can sit down. How dare that damn Eagles business staff need lunch at the same time that the Eagles want to have lunch? How dare they? That's just wrong.
Unbelievable. We can't have regular people in the way. Don't they know who they are? Those are NFL players, damn it, Armando. They shouldn't have to wait for jamokes like us.
Exactly. So the point is that I'm trying to make is the NFLPA has a messaging problem with this report card when it comes to fans. And I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to give players a preview of what to expect if they go to certain teams. But I would tell you that it just doesn't fly with the average Joe.
The one thing I noticed that really got me is the Jets. They were the only team who had their owner rated F. Woody Johnson gets an F from the Jets players. That's a pretty big indictment, that one.
That's true. And look, he's not beloved. Let's put it that way. But so, ask Jets fans, would you rather have a winning football team and have an owner that's hated, or would you rather have an owner that's loved and still the team is losing? Every single one would say to you, I don't care what the players think of the owner. I care what they do on the field. And that's the point of the whole thing. Win, baby. That's all it's about.
The word is they're saying that the Mavs had an issue with the fact that Luka had a penchant for the beer and the hookah, and Bleacher Report saying that they felt his health history would likely lead to catastrophe in the next 5 years. That maybe Luka's not taking care of himself. We talk about how LeBron takes care of his body. We talk about how Tom Brady in the NFL took care of his body. These guys who are stretching the limits of maybe in the past what we thought was possible for athletic performance past the age of 40. Luka just wants some beer and some smoke, motherfucker. And the Mavericks are not feeling it. What do you think?
I mean, we don't know, but catastrophe, that seems a little aggressive, doesn't it? Catastrophe? Like his liver's going to explode? Like, what do they think's going to happen?
Yeah, look, here's the thing. All right, they think that in 5 years it'll lead to catastrophe. So they just move the clock forward 5 years by trading for Anthony Davis, who's already 31.
Right.
So you tell me what sense that makes. We're worried that in 5 years things aren't going to go so well. So let's get the 31-year-old guy who breaks down all the time and who is currently broken down right now. We'll just fast forward past the 5 years that we think he has left. I'm telling you, man, the dude's averaging 28, 8, and 8 for his career. This, to me, there's no putting a happy face on this trade. I'm sorry. This is a trade that should have been made. It was a terrible move. Sometimes the simplest reaction is also the most accurate one. And there's a reason that we were all like, oh my God, is this real? Did this really happen? Is this real? Because we all looked at it and we were like, why would they do that? They wouldn't possibly do that, would they? And I think it's a case, Ron, of familiarity breeds contempt. Okay? I saw a little thing popped up in my Facebook timeline yesterday, and it was TikTok or something. I think it was a reel, and it said basically like, imagine leaving somebody in a romantic relationship who was 90% of what you wanted because you were hyper focused on the 10% that wasn't exactly what you wanted. And I think that happens in relationships. I think it happens in relationships between franchises and teams. And they have zoned in on the parts of Luka that they didn't like. And they're ignoring the fact that this guy's a perennial first team all-star and a guy who averages 28, 8, and 8. And he's coming into his prime years. And I don't want to hear about the excuses. Don't tell me that you're worried that in 5 years, this guy is going to be a disaster. And then you go out and you decide that the way to get around that is to get a guy that's 5 years older and has just as many durability issues, if not more, than Luka. I'm not buying it, Ron. And what's wrong with wanting to smoke, by the way?
What's hookah? I don't even know what hookah is.
It's some Middle Eastern smoking pipe flavored?
Well, but is it like tobacco?
Smokes?
Is it what is it they're burning? I don't even know what they're burning.
Yeah, it's tobacco, it's flavored, like a whole bunch of people, like 10 people can smoke from the same hookah at the same time. Donald Duck might have liked to have a hookah, Ron. Motherfucker's got a speech impediment. He's raising 3 kids that aren't even his own. Damn right, you sparked that pipe, Donald. You've earned it. Motherfucker can't talk. Raising his brother's kids. Or his sister's kids. Do we even know which one of Donald Duck's siblings? All I know is that they're his nephews. He's dealing with them all the time. He can't handle the stress. Well, that was Donald Duck, wasn't it? Hang on. I'm being told that was actually Hunter Biden and his crack pipe. Ron. I'm sorry. He's waiting for Huey, Dewey, and Louie to come by, and let me tell you, it's a different Huey, Dewey, and Louie that were coming to visit Hunter. Don't ask me what I know about them. I don't know. It was probably illegal, is all that I know, Ron. While we're looking at things, some of the best things I ever saw, I looked at through one of these, Ronnie. Does this bring back the memories for you like it does for me? Some of the most majestic shit I ever saw.
1,000,000%.
It's unbelievable. When we were kids, getting one of those things,
it opened up the world to us.
Yeah, I mean that was our 4K television and every other type of entertainment rolled into one. I think they had 21 pictures on them, and you'd cycle through, and then you'd cycle through again. Then you'd cycle through again. We thought we were living the good life, Ron. We really did. Ron, here's one for you. I'm going to talk about this, and then I'll get your take on it. Jake Tapper. You know, I used to. This is another one of the things in my transformation, in terms of how I view the world and how I view the culture and how I view our politics. I used to think that Jake Tapper was a solid newsman. And I know some of you are laughing at me right now and thinking, yeah, well, welcome to the party, hippie. That was never true. But I always thought Jake Tapper was a pretty professional guy, at least back in my days before everything fully dawned on me about news in this country and everything else. I want to go back to a tape. First of all, you should know that Jake Tapper has a book coming out. Let's go ahead and throw this up and let people see Jake Tapper's book. Jake Tapper has a book here that he's co-authored called Original Sin, President Biden's Decline, Its Cover-Up, and His Disastrous Choice to Run Again. All right, so who better than Jake Tapper, the respected news anchor, at least respected by some, to write a book about President Biden's decline, the cover-up, and his decision to run again? You know, that's one that I would really want to read if it wasn't for the fact that Jake Tapper was completely complicit in the cover-up. Are you kidding me? You're going to write a book, Jake, about the thing that you went on television and denied and denied and denied and denied. And we've got some footage here. Laura Trump on with Jake Tapper. This is back during the election. And Laura Trump saying that Joe Biden is showing signs of cognitive decline. Now, I think every single one of us here that has a functioning synapse in our heads right now would say, yes, clearly Joe Biden was declining. And we watched it happen throughout his term. But he was in decline when he got there. He didn't just start decline. It got worse. All right? Joe Scarborough on TV, right? Hey, let me tell you something, motherfucker. This is the best Joe Biden that there's ever been. The best. You remember 40-year-old Joe Biden? He's got nothing mentally on 80-year-old Joe Biden. This is the best version of Joe Biden ever. Joe Scarborough, more full of shit than a Christmas turkey. Well, here's Jake Tapper, more full of shit than a Christmas turkey. Let's roll the tape. You'll see for yourselves, and we'll discuss it.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
You have
to watch somebody on stage
that's so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses diagnosing politicians from afar. Plenty of people have diagnosed your father from afar, and I'm sure it offends you. Your father-in-law from afar. I'm sure it offends you. You don't have any standing to say.
I'm not diagnosing him. What I'm saying, Jake,
you just talked
is
about
that
a cognitive decline.
That Joe Biden
I have one last
struggling
question for you, Laura. You can't
times on stage, and it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel
Laura
sorry
Trump.
for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure.
All right. I don't even know where to begin. He acted like he was so. I think you were making fun of his stuttering. I think you were. What are kids going to think when they see you making fun of his stuttering? She sits there and says, no, I didn't even know that he had a stutter. I'm talking about his obvious decline. And I don't know the context, but I mean, you can imagine what it was. Wandering around, shouting out people that have been dead for 30 years, acting like he doesn't know where to go. I mean, how many examples do you need? Was it really a radical thing for Laura Trump to say that she thinks that Joe Biden may be showing signs of cognitive decline? It's not. Tapper just pushing back against that. Like you were talking about his own father or something. You have no standing to assess somebody else's cognitive decline. I find it amazing that you would do that. As I've said before on this program, Bob Dylan, maybe my favorite Bob Dylan lyric, you don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. If it walks like it's in cognitive decline, if it talks like it's in cognitive decline, if it wanders around like it's in cognitive decline, you don't have to be a fucking doctor in order to be able to observe what you're seeing right in front of you. And Jake Tapper sitting there trying to gaslight everybody into saying that it's ridiculous that she could even suggest that he might be having cognitive decline. Go fuck yourself, Jake. The only thing worse than that is you're going to profit off of it now. Because the minute that it's out there, hey, how can I make money? We're going to talk about how this was covered up, like you're exposing some kind of scandal. Page 1 ought to be a fucking picture of you, Jake. Because I found who was doing it. I know the source of the cover up. It was the fucking fake news, such as yourself. Ronnie? You got anything you want to add to that?
I mean, how do I follow that, Ricky? I've used this term a lot on this show. These people are so smug. Like, he's so smug. I cannot stand it. Like, it might be the quality or the characteristic about people that I dislike the most. He's so smug. He thinks he's so much better and so much smarter. I mean, is that for real that this guy wrote this book and there's all these receipts?
Imagine
saying,
just the fucking chutzpah that it would take to go out with a straight face and publish this book.
Yes.
After everything that you've done to deny it. Like, you weren't a fucking part of it. I mean, It's unbelievable to me. Like, you weren't a fucking part of it. Jake, another guy who follows Super 70 Sports and doesn't deserve the content. Do the right thing and unfollow me, Jake. Don't make me block you. Unbelievable. You're going to sit there and do that. All right, look. One of the things that we've been seeing, Ron, is we're seeing people, I was one of them, people who historically did not vibe with Donald Trump, who are starting to look at things differently now. And I've got another one for you. Floyd Money Mayweather. Let's go to the tape. Floyd Mayweather now saying in the past he wasn't with Trump. Now he is. Let's listen to Floyd.
At least I'm happy, but we're never happy. When we had Trump before, we didn't appreciate him. But I think Trump is a great president. Actually, he's the best president in my eyes. He's the best president we ever had. Great businessman, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, and the way the days cabinet thing, you probably went around here. It was really phenomenal. To the point you talked about. Team, putting together a great team, put together a fantastic cabinet.
Trump has done an amazing job, and a lot of people around America are upset. But no matter who goes in the White House, we're always upset.
Right.
And I think Trump is the man for the job. He's the best president in my eyes.
I also been reading.
Would you have had that on your bingo card a couple of years ago?
No, so Mayweather's for
Floyd Mayweather.
He's for new Hitler. Is that what people are saying? Mayweather supports new Hitler.
Are we now immediately? Are we all going to criticize Floyd Mayweather for coming out as a Nazi?
I mean, if they're going to be consistent,
Isn't it fun
they should.
how these things are so select? Yeah, right. They only turn up the Hitler rhetoric under certain circumstances when they feel like it's beneficial. Yep. Because if you really believed it, wouldn't you say that Floyd Mayweather has identified himself as a member of a hate group?
Absolutely.
But they're not going to come out and do that. They're not going to come out and do that. They're going to selectively pick their spots to drive the Hitler narrative, but nobody's buying it anyway, man. Or the people that are buying it are people like Chris Cluey, who are so fucking gone that it doesn't matter anyway. That guy's never going to vote anything.
No, he has a degree in government.
Far left.
He has a degree in government.
He's got a degree in government. Well, I'm sorry, Chris Cluey. I apologize. I forgot that you have a bachelor's degree in government. Who am I to question you? Ronnie, President Trump has declared a legendary athlete to be a free agent. Have you seen this? Are you aware of the story that we're about to cover here? Take a look at this. Donald Trump on Truth Social, and I suppose that this is everything he does. He goes to Truth, and then they repost it on X. Wayne Gretzky's a fantastic guy. This is a classic Donald Trump tweet. It goes everywhere. Wayne Gretzky's a fantastic guy. They call him the Great One, and he is. He could run for any political office in Canada and win. Wayne is my friend, and he wants to make me happy and is therefore somewhat low-key about Canada remaining a separate country rather than becoming a cherished and beautiful 51st state. Blah, 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 blah. Wayne Gretzky's wonderful, whatever. He's the greatest Canadian of them all, and I am therefore making him a free agent because I don't want anyone in Canada to say anything bad about him. He supports Canada the way it is, as he should, even though it's not nearly as good as it could be as a part of the greatest and most powerful country in the world, the good old US of A. So whatever the fuck that means, Ron. Wayne Gretzky is now, I guess, a free agent, and he can pursue his endeavors with any country that he wants to.
Gulf of Mexico is no longer.
I'm trying to figure out what all of that means.
Yeah, I mean, the Gulf of Mexico is not the Gulf of America.
Was that a little backhanded?
Yeah.
Was that a little bit Gretzky's of a backhanded thing at Gretzky there? Yeah. It's like, Wayne, maybe you failed your American test. Wayne, I don't know. He was being so nice, but was there an undercurrent of fuck you, Wayne, if you're not all in on the America train here?
Yeah, I don't know, but my favorite line in there was, "He's my friend and he wants to make me happy."
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.